Dillon, you're going to be a free agent this summer. What do you think about the chances that you could be back here next season?
I think they could possibly be good. I'm leaving that, to my agent, Mike George, to handle that. And me just focus on the summer, focus on what I can get better, focus on how I can, contribute to getting better.
Dillon, just how do you evaluate this season for you in totality?
New role. I got better at, being on the defensive side, taking more of, ownership on that side. Seeing how, the seasons can go up and down, regardless of trying to keep an even keel and knowing that, I got to get better, shooting the basketball.
DB, do you regret the comments made after game 2 with how it then evolved into this huge wave of putting the spotlight on you and your team, and whether or not it, geeked up LeBron or whatever, but do you regret making those comments after game 2?
No. That's who I am. I don't regret it. I'm a competitor. I compete. I don't think it got LeBron geeked up. Is he back in the playoffs? It's been a little while, so I think, he was ready to play. And overall, we just got beat by a better team, bigger team. Guys that have their whole team, their whole pieces there. And, I'm just going to, continue to be me and get better at what I do.
Hey, Dillon, do you think the perceived perception of you takes away from what you actually do on the court?
I only think it takes away from, what calls have been made, or, for instance, like the flagrant fouls, there's already a persona on it, so, it kind of makes them lean into that direction, but, that's who I am, that's, what I'm going to be, and, at the end of the day, it's just competition, it's competing, and most, people are scared to compete, and that's why they get rattled or feel some type of way when I play against them. It's because I'm trying to compete at the highest level I can, and that's the only way that I got into this league, got into this realm of where I'm at now. So I'm not going to change. I'm going to keep doing what I do and get better.
Dillon, when Jaren won his Defensive Player of the Year award, one of the first things he said was it took having you on his right side. He saw it as both of you guys contributing to that. When you saw the strides that this team made defensively from the beginning of the season towards the end, how much pride do you guys take into that, and how much will that help you, knowing where you are defensively, get better offensively as well?
I feel like, we enable each other on that defensive end, me and Jaren, and, he got so much better towards the season, towards the end of the season with it. I don't think I, lost anything, on the offensive end. I was just there to, 3-and-D, shoot, and play defense. I got way more to my game than that. I'm just going to brush up back on that, and, my defense will never leave, even though I came into this league without that defensive persona.
Dillon, back here. Taylor just talked about less talk, more walk next season. Is that an environment you feel you could operate under if you are back here next year?
Yeah, I can operate in any environment. With the talking, I did that. I do that for one, to create an advantage for myself, And two, I try to create this matchup between my opponent. And, maybe sometimes that gets the best of me and it's too much, for other people. But that's just the way, I work, I operate, like that's what you're supposed to have on the defensive end, or else you're just going to be like the rest of these guys, just going through the motions. So, I knew when my role changed that I had to motivate myself every single day to come in here and work. And, that's what I did. And I just, kept it real.
Parker.
Dillon, just with the ups and downs of the season, you've mentioned yourself as a veteran in the locker room and a leader for this team. How did you see yourself grow as a veteran leader in the midst of all the adversity faced this season?
My roles has changed regardless of with the ups and downs. I got put into, try to mold D-Rod and Jake and those guys as a leader, trying to, get them to know what the NBA is all about, how to be professional, regardless of, what happened from last year to this year, be a professional and not be either a cancer or something in this locker room. And then just ultimately trying to, voice my opinions to my teammates on how we can get better.
Dillon, with your shooting at the end of the season, do you think it was an extended slump, or just at any point do you feel like it did get into your head and did affect your performance in that way?
It could have been an extended slump. I'm not sure. They started just, not even guarding me out there in the series. I wish I could have got some play calls so I can find my rhythm and find some stuff like that. But, it wasn't in the cards for our team.
You've talked about the mental game a lot. Obviously, there's been a lot of criticism since the end of this series. How have you sort of handled that for yourself?
I brush it off. I'm way more capable of, what I've shown. And I think that's why there's a lot of criticism, because, I've made myself as, a two-way player. And, I felt like, with all this criticism, I could have gave a lot more and, wasn't, given enough. So, I just take that into the summer and use it as motivation to get better. Appreciate y'all.
Ja, obviously, we know what you've been through this season. Just going to the offseason with your headspace, do you feel like you're in as good a space there going into an offseason as you have been in your pro career?
Yeah, probably so. Definitely could be better. So, now it's just, taking that time to, get away from basketball a little bit and, focus a little more on that.
Ja, both Zach and Taylor were in here, and they were touching on what comes next for you guys and self-created distractions and just walking the walk. Now that you've had a chance to sort of digest all this and look back on this season, I guess what are you thinking about and what are you wanting to accomplish to make you a better player next year?
I feel like, being available is the number one thing for me. It's times this year, where injuries had me out. The incident where I got suspended, had me away from the team. Even, playing, with injuries. I just want to be, healthy and available.